All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of A-Town Talk, the #1 podcast from Anthony, Texas, and the only one. Today, we're out here at Sun City Cantina by George Dieter and Trey Wood, East El Paso, and I'm joined by the one and only Jimmy Dukes.
Sup? What's up? Which camera?
All of them, bro. All of them.
What's going on, man? How are you, brother?
Good, bro. This is your third appearance at here at A-Town Talk.
Yeah, man. I love it. I mean, anytime I get to sit down and chop it up with you, even off camera, man, always a pleasure, brother. But yeah, man, thanks for having me.
Of course, man. We're doing a very MMA-centered podcast today. You can see right now I'm repping my CFC merch. We're going to be talking about CFC 5, October 18th.
Man.
Speaking Rock Entertainment Center.
Man.
We're going to be talking about UFC as well. It is fight night today. There is a UFC fight card 319, is it?
Yeah.
I think 319. Duplessis versus
Hazmat.
Shamaya.
Hazmat.
Kamsat? Was it what Cody? What's his name? You called him Cumshot?
Kamsat Chamaya. Cumshot Chamaya on me.
Yeah. And but by the time you guys see this, it'll be done and over with. But we're still gonna go over about it. And then
some predictions, huh?
Yeah, predictions. Comment down below. Would you guys, if you guys saw the fight, what'd you guys think about it? And hopefully we get our predictions right.
Right. We'll
We'll
probably
see.
get them wrong.
Yeah.
We're around enough fighting that we think we know and we don't.
Dude, the thing I've learned about MMA, it's so fucking unpredictable, bro.
Well, there's so many different ways something could happen, good or bad. Unfortunately, like there's just way more variables in the equation for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll start there, man. We'll start out with you, Jimmy Dukes.
What's up?
If you guys have seen the pod before, he had his own episode back last year, man. That was
Wow, yeah, dude. That was what? I want to say like August.
something like that. So
I
yeah,
want to say because it was right before another promotion, and I think they fought around that time. Or damn, yeah, you're yeah, because I think their fight was in December. We talked a little bit before that.
yeah. So we probably hit our 1 year anniversary.
Hey, gentleman and scholar, this guy, man, for sure.
And then we had you back on when we did the CFC pod.
Yeah.
And then you're back on here, man. And there's a lot of things that have changed for you since then.
Yeah, man, just living life and trying to create content, man. And we've always kind of chopped it up and, making any content that's worthwhile, obviously, you know what I mean? So I'm very fortunate to have opportunities to shoot or, edit or kind of do different things. Not only just in the MMA world or combat sports, but yeah, just been exciting, scary at the same time.
Yeah. And I remember the first time that we chopped it up, you're a veteran, and you've been doing content for over 5 years now. Mm-hmm. Different kind of content, and it's evolved over the years. And now that you're out there, you're freelancing, you're the MMA guy here in El Paso.
That's what I've been, like, people say that. I don't feel like I am, but it's kind of cool. I think it's only because, like, I do a lot more combat sports stuff. But, I mean, I do actually love the sport, and I get to know a lot of the folks that fight and from different gyms. So, I'll take that title. I appreciate that. But I've people have said that a couple times already, for sure.
And I think I don't want to, like, undercredit you because I said El Paso, but I think now it's expanding more than just El Paso. You go to Las Cruces. You recently just went up to Albuquerque as well. What's that like, man? Just covering the Southwest in general.
Yeah, man. So obviously I've been working with, I'm fortunate enough to work with different promotions. So, the Cruces one that we did together was dope. I was commentating.
Yeah.
And that was always fun, so shout out to Empire for always having me and stuff like that. But, having the opportunity, that was the first time I did after fight, the post-fight interviews.
Post-fight interviews, yeah.
Just being in the cage with, after, somebody does well or, what I mean? That was very exciting for me because I never thought I would ever do stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You ever think of stuff, you're like, man, I wish I can do that. That'd be cool. But I never forced it, and it just kind of happened, and it made sense at the time. So it was cool to have that just under my belt as a content creator. Like, hey, I did post-fight interviews at a freaking event, and I commentated. You know what I mean? So
and you ran a live stream at the same time.
Yeah, because I had like one of the best cameramen, doing it, helping me out here. But yeah, man, it just how you said, just I'm fortunate to have opportunities to create all different types of content or do it differently. So I'm not always in front of the camera. Maybe I'm behind it, or it's just cool that I have opportunities to do so.
Mm-hmm. And MMA is such a growing sport with the UFC like leading the charge, and now, like you said, we have all these in El Paso. I feel like it's been booming, and CFC is definitely doing a big part of that. CFC's, I think they just hit like over a year now that their anniversary. Mm-hmm. Something else. They're on their fourth event, going on their fifth event. How important is it to have these like feeder promotions, quote unquote, like CFC, KFL? I'm blanking for the other one. Empire. I was gonna say Elite, but no, Empire. Like, how important is it to have these promotions here in El Paso?
I think it's crazy to think that there's so many in a small city, but the fact that you were saying that there's the boom, there's actually a lot of people that want to fight. Mm-hmm. So the fact that these promotions have taken the time to acknowledge that there's enough fighters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That to where everybody can eat. Yeah. In different levels and put on great shows, because we have so many damn gyms, and a lot of the time these guys don't want to fight each other, which makes no sense. You know what I mean? We're such a small city, and we have a lot of gyms that are willing to cross train, and everybody kind of knows each other. So, kind of fighting each other from the same city doesn't make sense because we're so small. So the fact that these promotions are doing so well, that it kind of like perks up ears for people outside of the area, because like El Paso is kind of like we're in that in between where like Albuquerque or Tucson, and then east, you got to start going San Antonio and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But all the remote areas like Odessa, Midland, Alamogordo, like there's guys in those areas that come here to fight. And the fact that we have so many talent here in the Southwest, and there's enough promotions to put on these events,
Yeah, even people from down south, from Mexico.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
we had fighters from Juarez in this last CFC card. I lost my train of thought. So okay, so let's touch up on that. The feeder aspect of it. One of the fighters from CFC just got a contract to fight at Fury. So we're talking about Jacobo Matos here.
Shout out Jacobo, man.
Yeah, big congrats and shout out to him. Flyweight CFC champion.
Yep.
He fought. He got his title at CFC 3. He defended it on 4, and then shortly after that got his contract with Fury. Man, how badass is that?
It's cool too, because for Jacobo's been in the game and doing well. If you're ever around that guy, man, he's such a calm guy. He's a smart guy when it comes to fight, and he's a great coach. I knew him more of a coach before I even saw him fight. So he's out there, finishing these fights and, making opportunities for himself. But the fact that, now he's on board too. Now you got Piggy, who's already on the Fury roster. We got AJ, and these are people from El Paso. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That are moving up the ranks and, getting an opportunity to showcase on a higher level. So the fact that he started here is so crazy because, God willing and everything, he's on a good career path to potentially be on, on a UFC card.
Yeah. How badass would that be, man?
It's cool to see. You know what I mean? For us to be around, we're just camera guys, and I say that too. We're just camera guys, but we get inspired watching these folks go out there and do their thing too, because it inspires us to capture it and be around it.
Are there any like lessons that you've learned working with these guys? Because you're in there in the trenches with them, like you're you like you said, you're the camera guy. You're kind of the fly on the wall. Is there any takeaways that you've gotten from working close with a lot of these fighters?
You know, one thing that and I tell these guys too, man, like it's weird to me that people ask me, what do you think, Jimmy? What do you think? And I'm like, fuck, you know what I mean? But they value because I'm actually around and I'm actually paying attention and seeing, you know, I was like, hey, I thought this and I thought that. And it's cool to see that they value my opinion when it comes to some things. But at the same time, like capturing it and, you know, being around people that are inspiring to do something. Like, I don't know if you're not, how can you not be inspired yourself?
Yeah.
To do something. You know what I mean? I'm not saying I'm trying to go out and be a fighter or be the best photographer or best videographer or anything like that. I just get inspired to seeing people like chase their dreams. It inspires me to do what I'm doing with all the different type of content. And then obviously it's one of my favorite sports. So to be able to be in there and, you know, you see the highs and you see the lows, you know what I mean? And how people handle it. And, you know, it's really crazy to see, and I'm fortunate to be like, I always say I'm that in between of the audience and the fighters, because people watch my content and they get to see what I get to see cage side. By the same time, I know what these girls and guys are going through. You know what I mean? Like, two guys fight that I really like, one wins and one loses. You know what I mean? And they both have to go home differently, feeling a different way, and you know, it's crazy to see. To be back there with all those folks. And, you know, you yourself too, you know how welcoming a lot of the community is too. So it's cool that they appreciate us being out there, because, you know, for us to capture all those moments for them, and they look back at it later after like 5 months of training and they were getting ready for one fight. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's cool to see that people out there, you know, crushing their goals in their own ways.
Yeah, bro. I was actually watching the Logan Paul podcast. They had Ariel Helwani on there, and he was talking about when he started covering MMA. I feel like it was a very similar situation to what it is here in El Paso, where he stated that there was not a lot of people doing the coverage. And I feel like that's how it was here. Even like mainstream, we got now that we've partnered up with ESPN 600. Shout out Adrian.
Hey, Adrian, the man.
Like, even them now, they're putting more of a spotlight onto the CFC and all these local promotions. And I think like you've been one of those pioneers leading that coverage, man.
It's kind of weird to say that, and it's cool, man. And it's weird because like I'm just doing it because I felt like I had told you too. I was like, how is there anybody not doing what I'm doing? Like there can't be anybody else that's not covering fights like this. And I'm not saying I'm the best and I'm at every event, but the fact that I've been there long enough that people know me because they just see me by the cage, and then, you know, I'm fortunate for them to check out the content or whatever. It's cool. It's crazy that you know, I've had a lot of fighters, you know, shout out to people I've had conversations like, man, you guys are helping us. You guys are helping us having these podcasts, like you know what I mean? Having these conversations with all the different creators that, you know, that CFC and our media crew, like we're putting, being able to put a spotlight and a platform for this community that there was a void in. Yeah. And it's not like we did it because we thought like, oh, we're going to be big, we're going to make money. It's like, well, we did it because we wanted to do it. Yeah. Just how they're doing it. So they appreciated us too. So it's like, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I do it because we get the best seats in the house.
Oh, man. I'm just like, if I'm not by the cage, I'm just like, I feel bad because sometimes like, for like, I'm trying to get my foot in the door for different promotions, and I've done a boxing one. And just like, I feel so spoiled because like I just can't sit anywhere else. Yeah. Like, if I'm not cage side or ring side, like I don't want to go to the event. It's so messed up.
I want blood on me. If somebody gets fucking a tooth knocked out, I want to be able to catch it.
We're spoiled, man. We're spoiled to be there at CFC. Like even then, shout out to Carlos from the very first one that I went to. Like I just showed up and I said, hey, can I do this? And they're like, yeah. You know what I mean? So for them to just, we were talking about opportunities earlier, just like for them to say yes and just know that they know me, and, you know, just to give me the opportunity. And that gave me, you know, a springboard too. Yeah. For my content, you know, because I love covering the sport, but it was never for me. It was like I wanted to do it because it was a void. Yeah. So it was cool that it made sense and everybody wins. You know how I am about that. Like I sound like a broken record, but I always tell people that if it makes sense for both sides, it's freaking do it.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Big shout out to Carlos and Roland and David, because, you know, I got to thank them a lot. because we did that first podcast with them, and that kind of set off a chain of events for me personally, where I'm in the position where I get to do what I do now for a living. And I always, I'm very grateful and thankful to them because of that, because that was a very pivotal time.
Yeah.
And even meeting you, man, that was another, like, and we've talked about this, it's like the butterfly effect.
Yeah.
It led to like so many things, bro. So I'm extremely grateful for those opportunities. For any, like, young videographers or someone who's trying to make a name for themselves out there, what piece of advice would you give them?
I would say, one thing that it hinders me but doesn't hinder me, but I just like at least do something that you want to be around. You know what I mean? Like, if you like cars, go to car clubs, go to shows. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you like sports, then be involved with that sport. I feel it's more genuine when you like what you're actually doing, compared to where, like, let me make this as a career or make a living out of it. I'm not saying that that can't be done either. I'm sure there's great people out there that are like, I'm a videographer. It doesn't matter where I go, I could film.
Yeah.
I'm a great photographer. But I feel like if you're first starting, like, get involved into something that you like doing, and grow from there. Just have if you have opportunities to get on the field or get in some games, or just being around something you want to do, and you be able to do it with either filming or photos. Just like start with something that you like doing, because one thing we've always talked about is like, you can get burned out easily.
Yep.
You can easily get burned out, so you might as well do what you want to do.
Yeah, get those reps in. We were talking about this off camera. Like, you gotta just practice.
Yeah.
To me, the way I see it, it's like a muscle. If you wanna get big and strong, you gotta work out, man. You gotta get those reps, and it's the same thing. You're only gonna get good if you do shit.
Yeah.
And you do it constantly, and dedicate yourself to it. And I second where you said that, do what you love, like, because here's the thing, like, I do photo, I do video, but I lean more towards the video. Whenever I do photos, I like to do photos recreational, and because to me it's more tedious to do photos.
Yeah, I've been learning to get better at the photos, and I got like a better lens, and I'm kind of more like I'll do my kids, soccer games or whatever. But now that I've been to enough of combat sports, I'm practicing taking pictures, but in that aspect.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna be the guy who's gonna shoot a perfect portrait or the lighting and stuff like that. Like, I don't want to do all that. But I just like the rawness of be able to capture something, and I feel confident using a camera now to take pictures.
Yeah.
It might not be the best, but I feel like me just getting those reps and being around enough, because I was always just video. And then after I was like, I should just learn how to take pictures too.
Yeah.
I don't have to be, like, I tell people all the time, I'm like, I'm not really good at anything, but I can do almost everything. You know what I mean?
Just be well-rounded.
Yeah, I could pretty much, you could put me in front of the camera, behind the camera, I can edit, I could take pictures, I could just do a lot of different things. And I feel like for me and the way I want to do content, I just want to be able to be valuable wherever I go. I don't have to be the main guy.
I'm not trying to be a Chris Hill here.
Yeah, I ain't trying to be, badass and shit like that. But, shout out to Chris. But yeah, man, there's people that are really good at certain things, and they enjoy doing that. But for us, like how you say, like, if I can do a little bit of everything and have fun, like, I might as well. That's what I want to do. I'm spoiled, man.
Dude, I like how easy Chris makes it look. Like, he'll be out there and he's just fucking snapping away, and then a couple hours later you see him upload the photos, and I'm like, God damn.
Yeah, that was like, God, we shot the same goddamn thing.
Yeah.
Why did you do like 10 times better?
Yeah, dude, it's just one of those things where, like, you got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to me, like, photos it seems more like of a job. So yeah, I'll stick to it recreational every now and then. I'll do them, but yeah, video is where I get lost in the video, and I love doing that.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, it's fucking 3 hours in. I've been working on a video, and I'm like, oh shit, like, my back's hurting.
Yeah. Like, since I've been editing more, like, since I've been doing this more full time, I have like more time to focus. Because I'm sure you could relate to this, where you have so much content and you just keep doing other stuff and you just never get back to it. And I just, now that I've been like, I have so much stuff that I could upload that I feel like I need to be able to share that kind of stuff. Like, there's things that I was just telling you about my YouTube. I was like, there's a video game that I played, Callisto Protocol. It was a great game. And I played, it was like 6 streams long. And I recorded like so many cool moments. And I never posted them.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, I played another game and I played another game. But now that I've like have more time to sit down and like look at all my stuff, I'm like, there's a lot of cool stuff. And now I don't mind it like sitting down and editing it. Because I'm like, I shot it for a reason. Let me go back and go through it now. Before, I felt like it was like, ugh, I gotta edit, I gotta do all this stuff. But now it's kind of like what we're saying, it's more of our job. We're more like, because we want to do it, so it's easier for us to do it. I'm not saying it's easy every time, but I look forward to like, all right, let me chop this shit up. What can I do? Like with all this stuff, how can I make it? Like I showed you that video of those 2 heavyweights fighting. It was like 20 minutes of coverage, but I put it into 3.5 minutes, and I thought I did a good job. And I was like, damn, that was dope.
That's a skill that I don't think people realize, because nowadays, we're talking about social media. It's all quick cuts.
Yeah.
You get 60 to 90 seconds max to get people's attentions and tell them a story. And it's fucking hard, bro.
Yeah.
Especially when you said you got 20 minutes that you got to condense down to like a minute or minute and a half.
Yeah.
Like, do you have any practices or any like strategies that you do when it comes to chopping down the content like that?
One thing that I've gotten better, and I'm sure you've done this too, is like ahead of time. I never did this before. I would just kind of like wing it, and I would be like, all right, I gotta catch this, I gotta catch that, and then I would get the content, and then I'd be like, all right, what can I do? So now ahead of time, I just think of projects ahead of time. Like I want to have this, and I want to film this, and I want to film that. So I like start building a shot list.
The pre-production.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
The shot list, I would never do it before. And once, even if it's like you mentally do it, because I'm sure you get enough reps where you already kind of know what you got to do.
Yeah.
But just physically like seeing it reminds you of like different things you could do. And then this way later, when you're going to look through everything, you're already like, oh yeah, this is for this is for that. Because like after, like I'm sure you do too, like when I shoot like in a whole event, like it takes me almost like an hour to just break everything down.
Yep.
So this way, when I want to start making the videos, I could just go and grab everything. Because there's a lot of the time, it's just like, there's 100 files, file 1, file 2, file 3, and you have to double click and look. But when you start, if you have your shot list ahead of time, you already kind of have an idea what each shot is, and you could start, categorizing everything, and then it's easier for me to edit. So that's one thing I would always say, just like have an idea what you want to shoot ahead of time. I'm not saying it's got to be perfect. But even then, like when I went out of town recently, there was one thing I wanted to do and I didn't do it because the event went so fast.
Dude, even ChatGPT. I've used ChatGPT I'm like, hey, I'm gonna shoot this event. Give me a shot list.
Yes.
And it just gives it to you, and then you just have it right there. But yeah, dude, that's a great strategy. That's one that I still don't do all the time. But I have noticed that when I have that, or even when I take time to invest in pre-production to think out an idea, especially for the podcast, that's one thing that I've started doing more, is at least spend an hour thinking about what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Me personally, I like to free flow. Sometimes I feel I'm better when I'm free flowing, because then it's not so robotic, and the conversation just takes its own story. But it is good to have at least like bullet points of things that you want to cover, and just find a way to get to them.
Because you want it to be, and that's one thing we could relate to as doing podcasts and hosting ourselves, is like we want it to be genuine conversation, and it's free flowing, but at the same time you got to keep the conversation moving forward, because sometimes you could just sit there and you're talking circles and then you forget, and it just kind of like then you're running the podcast longer than it really needs to be. Just kind of like, you have to kind of have that in mind, kind of like, all right, let's have fun, but let's hit our bullet points along the way to keep the conversation going forward, because of pacing. Because like how you said, like if something starts on interested, somebody's just gonna skip and go to something else.
How have you been able to find a balance in your content? Because you do a lot of MMA focus, but you do a lot as well in general. Like,
I feel like when there's events coming up, I look forward to them. So like, I always like to get those interviews in with the fighters. And one thing that I've been doing more too, and this is just me, and we were kind of talking about it a little bit about social media presence for people. When I get to know these fighters, I let them know like, hey, like the promotion could only do so much. I mean, the promotion could only do so much for, like, you need to post pictures, stories, like, because one thing I tell these fighters, and I'm coming in as a content creator, social media guy from the outside. By all means, I'm not a fighter. I don't know how it feels to do all that, but I do know that the blueprints up on the internet, you have to market yourself, because if you're not posting, and you could be 10-0 and a killer and nobody knows who you are. You know, you could be somebody who's, 5-5 and has a great social media presence, and you're more likely to get branding, to get a better fights, to get better things, because it's a win-win. Like, if a promotion sees it, a fighter's taking their seriousness of being a good fighter and doing the social media presence, it's easier to promote the fighters and things like that. So I always tell fighters, like, I know it's like weird, but just take a picture of you hitting the bag, you rolling around, like, just get used to doing that. And then the interviews, like I said, I like doing with them ahead of time. It's just like, hey, if you're going to continue this career, like, talk to little old me for a little bit. You'll get used to it. So when you move up the ranks, when you start talking to people and bigger promotions and bigger spotlight, it's good. You already got your reps in with me.
Yep. Yeah, and it's almost like fighting and promotion has been hand in hand since the beginning. You know, you've had like your Don Kings in the past in boxing and stuff, now like Dana White, and at the end of the day, it's about getting seats.
Yep. Asses
and seats. I was gonna say seats and asses.
Yeah, seats and asses too, man.
seats shoved up someone's ass.
Get up in there.
Yeah, but you gotta get asses in the seats, man. That's what it's about.
Yeah. With all the different content, like, so when events are coming around, I focus on that. And then, the podcast thing too, because I have a podcast. I play video games, and then I do the combat sports and then the interviews. So I kind of always, I feel that I'm lucky to be able to choose to do different things. But at the same time, it's like I don't focus just on one. So that's kind of like the downfall sometimes. Or kind of like I could be pushing more on stuff like that. But it goes back to why I like creating content. I feel like I'm creating content when it makes sense to me and when I want to. I mean, obviously, if I'm getting paid to do something or be something, like, that's priority. But other than that, I kind of just feel like, all right, going back to the whole planning, like, I've gotten better now that I'm full-time just being a content creator and doing freelance work. I'm like planning out my week. I'm like, all right, these projects I got to get done. These projects are okay. At least I know that they're there. And I make the time to start getting to them. And like, I just did a podcast the other day and I looked forward to doing it. And like when you said too, I got home and I started editing it right away because I was excited.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just finding the balance where it makes sense when I like making the content and then just trying to put it out as fast as I can. That's one thing too that I always tell people. I'm like, I don't want to sit on something too long. If I have the time to do it, I want to put it out there as fast as I can.
Did you struggle with like the discipline of doing it? Like for me, when I decided to go all in on this, and all of a sudden I had like all this free time because I no longer had a 9-to-5, and I feel like in the beginning I struggled with managing my time because I'd be like, I can just edit like later or whatever, Did you struggle with that?
I mean, I still do.
Yeah.
I still do. Like, there's times where, I take the kids to school and I get home and I just sit down and I'm like, either like helping other businesses that I'm working with for like, shooting for them or kind of setting things up, then work on my stuff, and boom, there goes 3:00. I have to go pick up the kids.
Yeah.
And it's like half of the stuff that I wanted to do in the day, I did not get close to doing. And then it's kind of like, oh, I'll touch it a little bit better. But I've gotten better with the time management and more like I do this where I'm like, squirrel, and I just start editing some other stuff. Because I feel like sometimes like I get burned out. I'm just one and I just grab another project and I start working on that instead of just going through all the way through the beginning through one. But just the time management, now that I have way more free time, I still struggle with that, but I've gotten better.
Yeah.
I've gotten better. I'm not saying I'm perfect, and I could do better, obviously, but I'm being more cautious because I'm like, this is my full-time job, so what's my excuse? Like, whatever I'm putting into it is what I'm going to get out. So if I'm laying around and kind of like, I'll get to it later, that's not going to help me because this is the opportunity that I wanted. So I need to start making sure that I'm being efficient with my time.
Yeah, dude. The doom scrolling is what gets me sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's hard because part of my job is social media. So I have to be on there. I try to be consistent, and I try to post as much as I can for the pod. But sometimes I get distracted, dude, and then I start watching like video tutorials on like a certain like editing or something new that came up. And then next thing you know, it's like 3 hours went by. I'm like, oh fuck.
Right. That's like the worst too, man. Or I'll start looking at stuff that I want and I can't afford right now. Kind of like not can't afford, like things that I want right now, but it makes no sense having. I'm sitting there reviewing a product from like 10 different people. They all say the same thing. I look down there, it goes 30 minutes. I'm like, I'm not even gonna buy this damn thing, and I don't even need it right now. But I just wasted 30 minutes, so I could have made like 20 reels really quick, and I did it.
Yeah. So what was that moment where you decided to take that leap of faith? Because like we said, you've been doing this for a while. You know, you're a veteran of the game, but you were always doing it just as a hobby. And then what made you really go, this is what I want to pursue as like a career path?
No, I mean, a while back, I mean, we met like a year ago, and I was already kind of like, we were both talking about burnout, and I was just getting out of one. And I think at that time you were starting to feel it.
Yeah.
So it was weird because like for me, like that's when I was like, I felt like I had other people in different aspects of life. Like right when you feel like something's not going your way and you still want it, that's when you got to push. So like, you know, coming into the new year, I was already getting burned out at my job at what I was doing. I was not happy. I've been an IT guy for 16 years. It pays the bills. I went to school for it. And just when I started getting better at content and being more confident in myself, because next month will be 6 years of me creating content. I just started streaming video games at first, and I started doing unboxing and getting better at all that. And then when I realized like this is way more fun, like what can I do to get myself in the position to where like I can make a living being a freelancer? So, you know, May came around. I was like really struggling mentally with work and not being happy at home. And, you know, my wife can tell. And it was one of those things like we had a long conversation, and we sat down, and, you know, we figured it out. You know what I mean? And I love her to death because she supported me in my decision. Because, you know, I'm sure you've met a lot of people in life that are pursuing something and they don't got that support. You know what I mean? Or it's tough. Or like, man, I want to do this, but my wife, or I want to do this, but my husband, or, you know what I mean? It's tough. People that you want to do something that's not, it's out of the norm, and you're chasing something. So I get a lot of props for chasing my dreams, but at the same time, like financially, it's not a good decision.
It's scary.
Yeah, I have
fucking scary.
You know, I have a family. You know what I mean? I have responsibilities financially and stuff like that. But when we sat down and we said, hey, let's try to figure it out, and now was my opportunity. Like, I have 5 years of experience. I know what I can do, and I know what I can't do. What can I focus on to where I can make, you know, I can financially, you know, get something as a freelancer, photography, videography, working for events, wherever I can. I felt like I'd rather eat shit doing that than to work where I was at.
Yeah.
That was pretty much it, man. That was the I was like, you know what? I could always get a job again. Like, F this place. The place was great. Me mentally, I was just like, I'm done with IT. I don't want to aspire to be more than the IT guy that I was. I wanted to do more, but after falling in love through content, I tell people this all the time, I found myself through creating content.
Yeah, dude, it's super inspiring, bro. And I feel you 100% on that, because it's not easy, man. And we've talked about this, like that leap of faith is so hard, bro. Like when I put it like a month notice. It wasn't even 2 weeks. I let them know like a month ahead of time that I was done. But once I let them know, I felt like this weight off my shoulders, knowing that I was gonna go pursue something else. But at the same time, I felt like my clock was ticking, and like the closer it got to that day, I started feeling a ton of anxiety. I'd say like those last 2 weeks at my job were like, anxiety wise, it was bad. It was really bad. But once it was done, and once like I'm like, fuck it, sink or swim, right? Yeah. And I feel like your instincts kind of kick in, where you're like, all right, like, what are we gonna do now?
Yeah.
You know? So big props and shout out to you, man, for doing that and pursuing your passion, bro. Because I don't think enough people do that.
And I think too, as I've gotten a lot of props through people. I've had people that are like way more successful in life, and doing what they're doing. But when they see me doing my thing, they're like, damn, man, I give you props on that. Because, like, it's tough, you know, for you to say, hey, I'm going all in on myself, you know, and it's not guaranteed.
It isn't.
You know, it's not guaranteed. And that's one of the biggest things. Like, people are like, oh, I see you all over the internet. You're doing all this. I'm like, yeah, but it's not what you think it is. You know what I mean? So same thing with, like, I relate to the fighters. Like, yeah, I see you training all the time and fighting, but they ain't getting paid shit. These guys are amateurs, or like if they're barely getting like, so that's how I can relate to being around, you know, fighters more recently, because they're inspiring to something that's out of the norm. Like, they also have the regular jobs and stuff like that. But for me, that this is my job, and I'm trying to make sure that I'm putting myself in the position to financially be able to be stable for my family and still be able to pursue my dream, is like, it's been given. It's like, it's tough, but at the same time, like, I'd rather be doing this.
Yeah.
I'd rather do this.
Yeah, there's nothing like betting on yourself. And,
Yeah.
And then once you start seeing those wins is where I feel like that's where the confidence starts start walking a little straighter.
Yeah, I wear bigger shoes. I look taller and shit. But yeah, man, you're right. Like, with every event that I've done, with everything that, like, people have hired me on the side for small things, and we talked about the rep thing, I just feel more confident in what I'm doing. Even though I still to this day, I'm like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing? Like, I was making X amount of money. Now I'm like zero amount of money. Like, you know, this is stupid, Jimmy. Like, what are you doing? Like, and then at the same time, when I'm editing and I'm doing this, and I'm like, fuck yeah, this is exactly what I want to do.
Yeah.
Like, I just gotta like I talk to myself. I talk to myself like, this is what you wanted to do, right? This is what you want to do. All right, let's go. You know what I mean? And I get that little umph, and then people give me those pats on the back, which I don't need, but it feels good.
Yeah. No, dude, I think one of the most rewarding moments have been, and it happened at this last CFC event when they were playing my videos up on the screen.
Yeah.
That was kind of like one of those.
That was dope.
Where I took a moment to kind of look around and just look at everybody, you know, staring at the screen. I'm like, that's my work.
I did that shit. Hell yeah.
It's like,
I was in the back when I was playing, and then my part came up.
You came out, yeah.
Shout out to you for hooking me up with that. But that part came up, and then everybody just looked at me, and I'm just holding my camera because I'm still doing what I'm doing, and everybody's looking at me like, Allah. That was cool.
A little like wink, bing.
Yeah, it was cool. It was like, damn, that felt dope. You know what I mean? Yeah, but yeah, you put that video together, and that looked amazing too. But yeah, you getting that little like little accomplishment, it feels good.
Yeah, it keeps you. It drives you.
Yeah, like, I don't need it all the time, but yeah, it feels good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna double check this.
Go for it.
I don't think I turn on the fan on the camera.
Oh, let's get
I'm like paranoid.
3, 2, 3, 2. Go ahead and cut into the whatever you want next.
All right, man. So we're gonna go over some of the CFC card.
Woo! Man, that's gonna be a banger.
We're also gonna get a fighter on here. He's running a little late, but he'll be here in a bit.
How excited are you for the card now that I know you were a fan, but now that you're more embedded into the local scene, how more excited are you to be at these events now?
I'm excited to be there. I'm still getting a little familiar with some of these fighters. I've gotten to know a few of them. I've seen a few of them. Like, I can probably recognize them if I see them off the names. I'm probably not going to recognize some of these guys. But I am very excited, man, because one thing is that I've learned within this last year covering MMA here is that there's a lot of talent, bro.
Yeah, there's a lot of dudes. Even from here, too, like, the fact, and me too, like, I'm getting to know some of these guys and these girls that are coming out, and I'm excited for them because of the opportunity that, you know, CFC has such a big platform here in this area. You know, and people are showing out for them, and so they're more inclined to want to show out for the crowd too.
Yeah, I get excited hearing Carlos. He's the matchmaker for CFC when he's talking about putting these fights together, and he's talked about some of the guys that he's brought on, and I see his excitement and how pumped he is, and I'm like, dude, I can't wait. I can't wait to see this. So let's jump into this, bro. Let's go from the very top. Our pro card.
Yeah, man.
Break it down, Jimmy. You're more familiar with these guys. Break it down for us.
I mean, as far as like, I don't know everybody, but I'm gonna do my best too. But I mean, we'll talk about what we do know. But for sure, the main event, dog, Crystal Ball, Chavez, 10th planet, black belt, been around forever. The fact that the story was that he said he wanted to get one more fight in, and Carlos, you told the wrong person. So shout out to Carlos for that matchup. But I'm excited to see Chris in there. You know, Chris is. He was a fighter from before, but at the time, I just think he stopped fighting and was more serious about his business and doing, building his gym and all that. And he's done a lot of other things for the city as far as like jiu-jitsu with Desert Jiu-Jitsu, and now he's got this martial arts expo going. Like, he's done a lot of things. So that itch for him to fight, I guess, has always been there. And the fact that we get to see him fight, it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, once a fighter, always a fighter, man.
Yeah, for sure.
They're always gonna have that fight in them.
Yeah, and I guess from my understanding that the guy that's coming in to fight him is not a slouch. He's flying in from Colombia, and he's got a good following too, and he's got some good wins. So it's not like Chris is getting a layup.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, if Chris is gonna be fighting a guy that's looking to come to the United States, to El Paso, Texas, and just have an opportunity to show out. By the same time, Chris is, I mean, it's crazy because I've known Chris for so long, and when he like competes, he's like a different dude. Mm-hmm. So I can't wait to see him getting closer to fight camp. I mean, he's already in fight, but getting closer to actual fighting MMA, man, because when he stopped fighting, he was still good. It's not like he stopped fighting because he was bad. He just life
caught up.
Life. Priorities came differently from what I see in my understanding, mm-hmm. and he made decisions that he needed to do for himself and his family. But now he has an opportunity to get in there, and it makes sense. So I'm excited for that.
All right, man. Let's do Jimmy's picks here, man.
Oh, I've told this to everybody. For me to cover the sport, I respect everybody who's in it. So like, I'm not the type of person that's gonna pick fights.
Okay.
For me, just to be honest, like, I just want to say, hey, that's a good matchup or whatever, and things like that. I've had conversations, back doors with these guys and girls for different reasons, but I don't like picking fights.
Okay.
That's just me. I feel like the respect for me to cover the sport fairly, I don't ever want to be like, well, you pick this guy and you pick that guy. I even have this thing, my wife freaking hates it. She's like, who do you want to win? I was like, I just want to see a good fight. Why can't you just pick somebody? I'm like, because I just want to see a good fight. I'm such a fan of the sport. I just want to see what happens. I'm like, in my head, I have a lot of different things that could happen, but we don't know.
Yeah.
Going back to the variables things, right?
It's like the equivalent of like asking like your wife or your girlfriend, like, what do you want to eat? And they're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just hungry.
Yeah, I'm just hungry. Like, I really don't care what it is. Like, just put food in front of me. But yeah, like some of well, we can go on to the next fight, the
mm-hmm.
co-main, even Cepeda. You know what I mean? He's, unfortunately he lost to Jacobo and, didn't get that belt. But then he came back and won, his comeback fight. And the fact that now he's going to fight John. And John is, his last fight was supposed to be an amateur fight, and it became a pro fight, and he won.
Oh, shit.
You know what I mean? So those two guys fighting right there at, Javi and John fighting at 135, man, that's a good fight too right there, because Javi's embraced the bad guy ever since, the Jacobo fight.
Yeah.
But I actually got to talk to him here after the fight, man, and, his family, and like, he's legit. He's
solid dude.
Yeah, he's a good fighter, man, and I'm excited for him to go in there because he can get 2 in a row, and you know what I mean? And for John, and it's an opportunity to fight a high caliber pro guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He had a short notice pro fight and he won. He looked great. But now you're going to fight a guy who's been in there with pros.
And not only that, but in the spotlight. Main eventing, mm-hmm. CFC 3, co-main eventing. No, he didn't co-main event.
Yeah, he was like third to the top.
Out.
Yeah.
But still, that experience and always goes a long way.
Yeah. I mean, for him in his career, like it's perfect because John's right. John is a fan favorite. He's from El Paso, but he trains from J Pages and Phoenix. So for him to kind of like keep embracing that bad guy, I'm going to beat all your El Paso guys because he's from out of town, you know what I mean? So if he comes into town, he keeps beating these El Paso guys. And we were kind of talking a little bit, but not in a bad way. I was like, you embrace that? He's like, man, I mean, I might as well. You know what I mean? Like, not in a bad way. He doesn't want to be the bad guy, but, people don't like him because he's not from here and he's winning. So I'm like, hey, man, any publicity is good publicity, I guess, at some point, right?
He likes to play spoiler.
Yeah, man. Hey, to him, man. But let's see. And then Victor making his pro debut. El Guapo.
Hell yeah, Guapo.
Man, that's gonna be exciting. What do you think about seeing him getting into a pro fight?
Dude, I'm very excited because I've gotten to know Victor. I haven't seen him fight yet, but unfortunately, like his last fight got pulled out. He was gonna fight at CFC 4, and that ended up getting.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like they tried to do 2 matches at the end. It just didn't work out.
He couldn't. Yeah, he couldn't. But he's gonna make his pro debut. There's a lot of hype behind him. He's like
7-1. That's
7-1, like ranked number 1 in for
area?
amateurs. Yeah, for the area. So there's a lot of hype behind Victor. Super cool guy. Super humble. A hard worker. I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see what he brings.
Yeah, man, and this I guess it's been a long time coming too. But credit to him and his his teammates and his coaches, because a lot of guys that I see, I mean, I'm not talking shit. This is what I see, that some guys just will jump to the pro just because it makes sense right away. This guy's had 8 amateur fights.
Yeah.
Usually guys are like 3-0, 4-0. I'm gonna become a pro, and then they go into the pro and then they fight a pro who had 10 amateur fights, and then now he's at his 4th or 5th pro fight. So that's 15 fights of him being in there, compared to you having 4 amateur wins and then you just going into a pro fight. I feel like the decision that him just sitting back and just continually working on his craft, because you can tell now that you've been around enough guys, you can see who's the guy that this is a career path.
Yeah.
And that's a career path for him.
And he's hungry for it. He wants it. Like he wanted a fight so bad last CFC, and unfortunately,
Yeah, he was even willing to fight a pro guy.
Yeah.
As an amateur, he was willing to make a pro debut last minute, and the matchup didn't make it fell through, and it is what it is. It's part of the fight game. But he was willing to step up there and on a week's notice against a pro guy that already had a couple fights under his belt, and it just didn't work out. But the fact that he was willing to get in there because he wanted to fight so bad,
Yeah.
what I mean. But I'm excited for him to have the time to sit down and be like, okay, this is the legitimate pro debut, and I wish him the best.
Yeah. Big shout out to Guapo.
Yeah, man. But some other we got and I don't know all the guys, and we're honest. We're still getting to learn a lot of the guys. But one other one that pops up to me is Dylan. Dylan Matthews, heavyweight title for CFC. Man, he's gonna have his opportunity to have a title shot, man. And the guy that he's fighting, Adrian, from my understanding, when I spoke to Carlos, is a legitimate dude. But who doesn't like seeing big guys fight?
We need more heavyweight fights. I don't think we've had any. Maybe like one last. Did we have one last CFC? I can't remember.
No, there wasn't one last CFC.
Yeah. Yeah. We need to get the heavyweights in, man.
There's so many. There's only so many of them, though. Unfortunately, in this area, there's only so many heavyweight fighters, and at the same time, it's just like a lot of these guys might not want to fight each other because they're all from the same area and things like that. But I mean, there's a million guys that are 155 in this area. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But there's not that many heavyweights guys. But for Dylan to get a title shot, it makes absolutely sense for him. He's ranked high here in the Southwest. You know what I mean? He has a great record. So the fact that he gets a title shot at CFC 5, I feel like it's warranted for him to get this. And, I don't know anything about Adrian, and I look forward to getting to, as the fights get closer. Like, one thing that I do is I start following the social media stuff and seeing what everybody's kind of up to and stuff like that. But, yeah. That's another one that looks good too. But what about this next one with Nico?
Oh yeah, 9 Lives.
9 Lives. What do you think about him, man?
Oh, he's awesome, bro. We talk about branding. We talk about making a name for yourself. Like Nico he's got that. He's got that it factor.
Yeah, and he has a great story too, man. He's always honest about what he's had, before in the past, and but fighting's helped him, start building this, career path for him, and he loves doing it, and he loves letting everybody know about adopting a cat too, you know what I mean? How could you not like that?
He had a great post-fight interview this past CFC. CFC 3 didn't go so hot for him. He ended up losing, but he came back and he got the W this CFC 4, and great post-fight speech, talked about some of that stuff that he's been struggling with, and then shouted out the cats. Man.
And that's the thing too, is like, for a lot of these people out here that show up to these CFC fights, man, it's a great atmosphere But at the same time, they do a good job of bringing the fighters around that want to be here. And you can tell he always wants to be here. And, you know, he means well. It might not go his way all the way, but that guy's a showman.
Yeah. Yeah.
Big time showman, man. So
Cool dude.
Yeah,
Cool dude.
Yeah, 155 for him to see him go in there. But another one that kind of pops up to me, man, is the bantamweight title fight, amateur title fight. We got Santi out of Albuquerque fighting a Don.
Oh.
You know what I mean? And Santi, you know, got the belt on the last one. At 3, he didn't fight at 4. He got it at 3. Brutal 5-round fight with Rudy and got that belt, man. It was cool to see him. But Adon, if you guys don't know Adon, he's been around for a while, but it just fights fall. His last 3 fights have fallen through for different reasons, for different promotions. But this kid is game.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see those 2 guys fight for, you know, Santi's going to defend his title for the first time for CFC.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, like that one looks good. And then obviously then we move down another title fight that we got Paul Descoteaux versus Jonathan Nunez. And, you know, Paul's been on a tear recently too. You know what I mean? So for him, he fights out of EKA. And he's great too. Young guy, hungry. And, you know, he gets a title shot too. And he's fighting Jonathan Nunez. And if you guys don't know him, he fought at CFC 3, I want to say, against Ginn, and he got that front choke, and that guy's legit too. So both these guys fighting each other right now, it's like one of those things I tell those guys, I'm like, God damn it, I like both of you guys, and the fact that you guys have to fight each other when it makes sense,
yeah,
it is what it is, right?
It's part of the game, bro. It's part of the game.
Yeah, and that's a featherweight title. Paul Descoteaux and Jonathan Nunez. That's gonna be a good one too. And then another one that kind of stands out to me is we got Calvin.
He's coming back.
Calvin, you know, it didn't go his way. You know, he was a champ. You know, defended his belt twice. And unfortunately, he lost. You know, to Sergio. Shout out to Sergio. And, you know, I was talking to Calvin before and everything like that. And this guy's mentally strong. So the fact that he took that loss on a chin and he just got right back at it. And for him to be able to fight against Devin, and I've seen Devin fight too. He's out of Albuquerque. That matchup is so fun to watch because I'm so curious to see what's going to happen. Because, I mean, Calvin recently lost his belt, you know what I mean? So he's like, hey, man, I got to get back in there.
He's coming back with a chip on the shoulder.
Yeah, and then Devin out of Albuquerque, man, he's been really, you know, I've been following him because I saw him fight for another promotion, and he's a hungry kid too. So the fact that they both get to fight each other, I'm like, God damn it. But it makes sense. But, you know, Calvin from Phoenix and Corwin from Albuquerque, you know, so they're not El Paso related, but it's cool to see that the CFC could bring talent. Those 2 guys are pretty legit prospects to be able to fight here in El Paso, man. So I'm excited to see that too.
Yeah, and Dunning, I mean, even though he lost his last fight, he still looked pretty good. You know, I had him winning early on in the couple of rounds. You know, things changed. It's the fight game.
Yeah, so many different variables, man. Yeah, shout out to Sergio. Now he loves playing that bad guy card too, but now he's the 125 champ, and I can't wait for him to defend his belt whenever that happens down here.
Another
for
great
CFC, man.
Post-fight speech.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. That kid, I saw him fight recently too, and up in Albuquerque, and he did the same damn thing too, man. It was he talks crap, but he backs it up, and he's a professional and he's a showman, man. So, but yeah, I mean, he's a champ now for CFC, so I'm excited whenever he gets matched up again to fight for his title. And another one too, even that I'm looking at it now too, Rudy Soto fighting against Danny. I know Danny was supposed to fight in the last one, but unfortunately, like the fight fell through. But Rudy Soto here from El Paso too, solid guy out of SVG. I'm excited to see him. You've seen him fight at from another promotion. He's a thin guy, but man, he's solid. And I'm excited to see him fight against Danny. And Danny, if I'm not mistaken, is from Jay Pages, and you know Jay Pages has a great gym.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a lot of good matchups right now, man. I mean, the fact that there's so many freaking matchups lined up, and I don't know everybody. I'm excited because now I get to see new people fight.
And I don't think the card is final. I want to say there's still additional fights being added. So who knows, man?
Yeah. Yeah, because even just looking at this, I'm like, God damn, there's a lot of damn fighters.
Yeah.
Oh, Evo actually, shout out. I see at the bottom of the card, Jonathan Baca. That kid's out of Albuquerque, super good too, super good striker. I'm excited to see him on a bigger stage too, to have a fight. I don't know Richie Galvan, but I look forward to. Like I said, like I'm making it a point to try to get to know a lot of these guys, because that's one thing that I want to do for the community that I've gotten a lot of respect for, is like somebody's like, damn Jimmy, you actually take the time to know these guys, and I'm all, yeah, because obviously I like the sport, and if I'm gonna say that I'm covering the sport, then I need to start getting to know who's from where and who's fought who, so this way, if I'm ever brought on to talk about a fight, I can honestly give my opinion and say, oh, I saw this, I saw that. So I'm taking the time to know these guys, and the fact that I don't know half the card, I'm excited because now I get to see a bunch of new people.
Yeah. Has there been any stories of any fighters that have like stood out to you?
I mean, one of the things too that we're fortunate to, because we're in the back a lot, so we hear a lot of things, and we're around things, and without saying names, there's a lot of people that have a lot of personal things going on in their life, and for them to put that all aside and go out there and perform, and then they have like a breakdown after, it's crazy to see, because like a lot of these folks are putting it on the line. Like when people say, oh, they're putting it on the line, no, these guys are really putting it on the line. And for us to be in the back or to kind of be around that kind of stuff is like, whoa, this is real.
Yeah, they really are like the modern day gladiators, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And even just like leading up to it, like watching them fucking cut, and dude, it's like I said, it's cool that we get to do what we do.
Yeah.
Like we play that fly on the wall, but man, you really get a perspective on everything, man.
Yeah, you have like a whole new perspective and a higher level of respect for athletes. The fact that they're willing to put their body on the line, their health or whatever. And some of these guys feed off of that. Like Nico said, like, man, the crowd, like yelling and like that feed off of that stuff. You know what I mean? So it's crazy, like when you actually see it. It's just like, oh wow. You know what I mean? And it's cool to see that, and for us to capture it, and everybody, all the photographers and all the videographers out there that, work with us at CFC, man, like all of us in our own different way are able to capture it. And it's cool, like, because we're all assigned one thing at the event. And then when everybody starts putting stuff out, I'm like, oh, John got to see that. Caesar got to see that. Angelique got to see that. PJ got to see, like, so you see the different perspectives of what they saw and how they capture it and they put it out for people. I think it's cool that we're able to gap that for the people that are in the crowd watching the fight, and then after they get to see all the content that we get to put out.
Yeah. And if you guys haven't checked out a CFC event, definitely go check it out. CFC 5, October 18th at Speaking Rock Entertainment. It's a great event, bro.
Yeah.
And I think, I knew it was great, but hearing other people talk about it, like when Adrian was talking about it, he was saying that, he's covered a lot of events working for ESPN.
Yeah, for 9 years, he's been here in El Paso covering sports.
And he talks so high about it, saying like, you know what, like I haven't seen people so engaged in an event, because it's true. You go to, sporting events, and sometimes people are on their phone, especially like, at least for me, like every time I go to a baseball game, I'm not really watching the game.
Yeah.
But MMA and CFC, like this is it's one of those sports where it's engaging. Like you can't stop watching, because if you look away, somebody can get knock the fuck out. You know?
You'll miss it too. That's like the worst thing. Ah, god damn it.
Yeah. It's happened to me as a videographer. Where,
you're like, oh.
Dude, at the CFC 3, they do the 10-second, the round's about to end. Oh my God, 10 seconds, nothing's going to happen. I'm already getting ready to go inside the cage afterwards. As soon as I turn around, I hear the crowd go, whoa! And I look back, and there's this dude like laid out flat.
The shot.
And I was like, no.
I missed the shot.
I had one fucking job, and I fucking blew it.
Yeah, because we were saying it earlier, just like there's so many different variables and so many things can happen just like that. Mm-hmm. Where just like the tide changes or just something happens, or like, oh man, all the fights that we for CFC, and then if you guys don't know, it's terrible, but it is part of the sport. There's a lot of finishing. There's a high finishing rate for these shows.
I think for this last one, it was like 7 out of 9 or something.
7 out of 9, and before that, it was like 8 out of 12.
Yeah.
So I don't like seeing people get knocked out. Like, it's one of my things. Like, a lot of people that are cheering, like, and that's one thing that like my heart is too, because like I know these people. So when I see somebody get knocked out, everybody's cheering, and I'm just like, God, I hope he's all right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, credit to the opponents or whoever finishes, but like and that's why I don't pick fights either, because I feel like there's so much more. If it was like a team sport, it'd be different.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, oh, I'll pick this team, but it's like one individual person, and you get to know them over time or be around them, and you know what I mean? But yeah, the finishing rate for, if you want to watch a combat sports and you want to be at an MMA event, like, the chances of you seeing some finishes at CFC is really high.
Yeah.
It's really high. And that's why, and they do a good job. To shout out to Carlos and them, that they're making these matchups, because they always tell these guys, it's like, you make a statement. You know what I mean? We're trying and will be a feeder league to a higher promotion and eventually the UFC. So if you can start a career here and finish like Jacobo and show that you're fighting quality fighters, you're gonna get a call to an opportunity to keep moving up. And I think, and Roland have said this, David and Carlos is like, hey, we want to be that for people in this area. We want to be able to spring you board past us. But if you get on a show here, that's a really big show here. And the fact that you can show out and you have an opportunity to, keep building your career, CFC is a perfect opportunity. It's a great spotlight.
Yeah, it definitely will be that feeder. It already is in a sense, and it's only a matter of time before CFC gets onto Fight Pass, dude.
Yeah, imagine that. And we've been here from the beginning and stuff to hear that. And it's not so much like, oh, sure, we're gonna have more stuff. It's just like, it's cool that the community, as far as the MMA community and combat sports community, and the surrounding areas and cities are participating and wanting to be part of these shows, because that's how it grows, right? Everybody they always say it takes a village. It takes us in the background. It takes the promoters. It takes the fighters. It takes people showing up, sitting in the cold to want to be there to watch the fights. You know what I mean? That's how you build a brand, and that's how you build a community of a fight game. Like, if everybody's in it and wants to be, it's only going to get bigger, right?
What about the star power they bring? Every CFC, they've done a great job of bringing pro fighters that are in the UFC or even legends. We've gotten the chance to work with the legend, Anthony Burchak, one of those guys.
I think it's cool too, because those fighters, they're the cream of the crop, or have been up there too. And I've heard them say like, oh shit, like this is pretty legit, because when I started it, I didn't have any of this. So the fact that they're so happy that, like a promotion like CFC is like giving everybody a platform, because like, hey, when I was barely getting started, there was nothing like this. You know what I mean? But now that the sport's grown so much, and then those fighters, when they show up and they get excited watching the amateur guys fight, because they're like, they can relate to that grind and stuff like that. And, having Valentina out here giving the belt to Jacobo, that's like such a badass moment. Yeah. Having Moreno being out here too. And, for them to come out here and support the actual, not only support MMA, but actually support the city and the promotion is awesome to see.
So we're here at Sun City Cantina off of George Dieter. Oh my God.
George Dieter. I put it in my my GPS. It's George Dieter.
Yeah.
George Dieter.
And great place, man. Big shout out to him. They're the official after party of the CFC. So we'll be here after CFC 5 celebrating. And then also we're going to be here every time there's a pay-per-view for the UFC. We'll be here hosting the party as well. So
I think that's cool. The fact that, this is a cool bar too. Yeah. I mean, I don't really get out much. Everybody knows that. The knows me. But when I came over here after the fight and we hung out, I was like, oh, this is a cool little crowd and they have some good food. And the fact that the CFC is making it a point, like, hey, let's go have some watch parties. Yeah. And get because, I mean, it can't be always about the actual event. Let's watch other people fight. Let's watch some professionals fight.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I mean, being able to, and that goes back to just getting people together. Yeah. Just getting people together is so cool.
Even for us, that was cool, man, because we have a long day. We're there basically all fucking day on our feet shooting. My back was killing me from holding the camera all day, and we just get to come hang out and bond with everybody, the whole crew. And even like the fighters. And dude, some of them were here after getting an ass whooping or whooping some ass. And
shout out to Yanni, man. Yanni was here, man. He got that knockout, man. He come and hung out with everybody, so it was cool. You know what I mean? Just like I think that's cool too. Like we all get together obviously for the event. Mm-hmm. But building those relationships and getting to know people after that, I like that kind of stuff too. I really do enjoy just getting to get to know people, and then we can relate for different reasons, and just you don't have to be best of friends, but you can become like pretty good acquaintances. And here we are now with Paul how do you say your last name? Dakota.
Yeah, around here, Dakota, the actual pronunciation's Descoteaux.
Descoteaux?
Yeah,
give us a little
Canadian.
French. Really? Is that what it is?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because I remember the first time we talked, I was just like, I'm going to butcher your name, dog. And then when you just broke it down all simple, I was all, like a elementary school child.
Yeah, around here, it's the easiest way to pronounce it, like North and South Dakota. A lot of people have a lot of troubles with it even then. And, it's pretty simple.
Yeah, man, but thanks for joining us. And how you been, brother?
Good. Thank you for having me. I've been really good. I've been just busting my ass in training camp, and just trying to keep it real simple.
Yeah.
And I feel great.
Yeah, man. I know. I keep up with you because we always kind of go through EKA. You're always either training yourself for a camp, or helping out your other teammates. But how excited are you for a title shot for CFC, brother?
Bro, I don't even think words can explain how excited I am for that, man. If you told me when I first started this, when I first started it, obviously everybody's goal is have a title shot, be up on the big stage and all that stuff, and when I first started, if you would have told me that I would have had a chance this soon into the career, I would have told you, nah, you're crazy.
Yeah.
That's, it's beyond my imagination.
Yeah.
It's insane to be able to get a shot, in front of my hometown, especially, and in front of all my friends and family, man. It's an amazing experience.
And you deserve the shot too. It's not like you're just getting a title shot, man. You've fought for different promotions. You've done well for other promotions. You've fought for CFC as well a couple times. And once I saw the matchup, I was like, oh damn, that is a good matchup, and it makes so much sense because you guys are both on tears. And the fact that you're going to be able to get a title shot for CFC, man, I'm excited for you, man. How different does it feel knowing that you're getting a title shot for CFC and have an opportunity to have a bigger platform like that?
CFC it's up the works, man. It's going up and up and up. Every single show is it's bettering itself. CFC takes really good care of their fighters, so I'm not surprised to see all these guys coming back. It's a great promotion here. We're trying to make it bigger in El Paso. Of course, shout out to all the other promotions out there. But CFC is really stepping up its game here in the MMA division here in El Paso. So being able to fight for this, have a title shot, even just fighting for CFC, it's a blessing. Again, like, they take care of their fighters. They're always there. They always make sure that we're comfortable and well taken care of. But to have a title shot for them, and for them to reach out to me and them tell me like, yo, for your first ever fight in featherweight, go for that title. I'm like, all right, I'll do it.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
So are you moving down a weight class?
Yes, sir. Moving down a weight class.
What were you gonna say there, John? My bad, dude.
No. I was just gonna say, like, is there more added pressure knowing that there is a title on the line, or is it just another day in the office?
Of course, there's added stress, emotions, all that other stuff that it's a title fight, but I just gotta look at it. It's another day in the office. It's another fight. Of course, there's a bigger outcome at the end of it, but I just gotta go in there with all the little things and throw it out the window and just take one step at a time. It's one combo after another, and just at the end of it, it's gonna show my work that I've been doing for the last year and a half, 2 years almost.
Yeah, it's so cool that and you I forget how young you are sometimes, but talk about having the opportunity at such a young age to have the not only a title shot, but to be able to fight here at home, because you have a lot of older teammates, and you've been around guys that have been fighting, and they're like always talked about having to travel out some more. Talk about how important it is to have a promotion such as CFC to have opportunities for young fighters right off the bat.
It's great, not having to travel out of town, being able to stay here having my family this close to me throughout the fights, it's really big. It's a really big, it's a really big thing for me. I'm a really family-oriented man. So being able to have them so close to me, and being able to help them push me through each fight camp that I have, and just everyday living, it's great to be able to fight here at my hometown. So I'm really happy and really blessed to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Do you take a different training route in preparing for a championship fight? Like, because
Got 5 rounds now.
you got to worry about now instead of 3.
Shout out to EK. We're always working
Killers.
to be doing, home of the fucking killers, man. We're at EK. We're always training for championship rounds. We're training 5-minute rounds. We're always pushing ourselves. So, we're already basically training for championship fights. But when I got the notice that it was a championship fight, I want to say I increased my intensity just a little bit more than I could. I was already topping myself out, but I want to say I can push, just a little bit more. Give it 111 instead of 110%.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still the same thing, same fight camp, same everything, not changing too much.
And bro, kind of going back to like your roots, what got you into fighting, bro? Because this is such a brutal sport.
Yeah, it is. To be honest, man, I don't know what got me into fighting.
He's like, I don't even know why I still do it now. Shit.
My body doesn't look like it, I can tell you that much, and I've gotten comments from other fighters and all that stuff, but my body does not look like it. But I used to be a very, very athletic kid. I played all sports that I could get my hands on, from basketball, football, track, tennis, baseball.
Tennis?
Yeah,
Oh,
I did
shit.
tennis for a
Paul
couple of years.
Descoteaux would have been a pro freaking serving it up.
I have a couple of Facebook accounts out there because a couple of them got hacked. And one of the older ones, my main picture was during one of my tennis matches. I was serving.
Now you're just serving up knockouts, dog.
Yeah, not just serving up knockouts. So I graduated high school, played sports all throughout high school, even city leagues. I tried doing city league sports. Once I hit 18, I fell off city leagues because I didn't think there was anything out there for older kids. So I needed that competitive lifestyle back in me. I was like, hey, I can't just go to work and come home and just chill. I need to do something else. So I started doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I started with BJJ, and it was fun, man. I just did tournaments after tournaments. I racked in a couple medals, and then one day, one of my coaches came up to me and he was like, "Hey, you want to do a smoker?" And I was like, "What's that?"
Yeah.
Is it ready to go hotbox a car?
Yeah,
I was like, I don't think I'm really part of that kind of stuff. Yeah.
I don't smoke.
Yeah.
I'm a good Christian kid.
Right.
And no, he was like, yeah, smoker, you're basically in the cage with some big old gloves, headgear and shin guards, and you just go wail on a dude. And I was like, all right, let's sign me up. How soon? And he goes, about next month. And I was like, I don't stand up. I don't fight. I fought a couple times in high school just to defend myself, but that's about it. So I told him, I was like, yeah, dude, let's do it. So trained for a month, and that's when I met Carlos. He told me, he was like, all right, you're fighting this dude. I was like, cool.
Yeah, built different. This fool, you're fighting this dude. He said, cool. Me, I'm like, why?
Yeah. So I had no idea who this guy was. I was like, cool, whatever. Like, I'm just gonna stick to what I've been training for. And I saw a picture of him, and I told Carlos, what the hell are you thinking, bro? I am freshly 18. I just graduated high school.
Right.
I'm this big old dude. Like, there's no reason for me to be moving around the cage this fast. And it's some ex-military dude, buff as hell. And I was like, dude, I think you got my matchups mixed up. And he was like, no, you got it. And I was like,
that sounds like Carlos. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, he was like, he didn't even know me. I don't even think he knew me very well or what, but he just looked at me and was, no, you got it. And I was like, all right, I guess I got it.
Yeah.
Day of the fight, went out there and I got it. I actually did it. All I had to do was survive the first round with him, and after that it was just brawling, two big boys brawling. And after that, I kind of I needed to get back in there and started doing it. Did a couple more, and then Carlos was like, all right, let's go amateur now. And I was like, all right, let's do it. Went amateur, and haven't looked back since.
Dang. Talk about that fitness journey, because I remember you were saying just like now you've lost weight over time, right? If I'm not mistaken, I'm trying to remember all the conversations we had. Talk about how MMA has changed your life. I mean, obviously you're fighting for titles now and stuff like that, but talk about the positiveness that being in a sport like this and being around a gym like EKA's that like made your life better.
Dude, so I started off about 300 pounds right out of, like, in high school. Last year of high school, played football as a lineman. I had to be pretty big, right? Out of high school, worked in the kitchen, 16, 18-hour shifts, got in whatever food I could get my hands on just to stay alive and stay awake. So when I started, doing kickboxing and all this stuff, I was losing weight over time. But when I hit EKA, it was totally different, man. I had all these people that saw my journey and like saw where I started and where I was at now. Super supportive. They wanted to ask me, like, first of all, why I got that big. Second of all, why I lost all that weight. And third of all, why I'm doing it now. So it's just it's a great gym. It's almost like a family. I can call them family. It's not almost like family. They are family. I can call them family. They're great people, always striving to push each other and make each other better. And they're just great, man. It's awesome.
What do you walk around right now?
Well,
normally, like not fight camp,
okay.
just Paul Descoteaux walking around.
Normally like 85, 90. I'm on the bigger end of 55ers. So
yeah. From 300 to that, dude. Because like you said 300, and
you
I'm
lost
looking
a
at
whole
you,
person, yeah.
dude. I'm like, what the fuck, bro?
Yeah.
It was crazy. I honestly don't even know why I got that big, because I didn't have these giant muscles underneath like a little layer of fat. Like it was a little layer of muscles underneath a giant layer of fat, So I honestly don't know why I got that big, how I got that big, or anything like that. But yeah, so I started off at 300, walked around. Now before fight camps around 185, 190, and I get all the way down to 155. And I look back at those pictures. I think that's another reason why I'm able to push myself so hard, because I look back at it and I'm like, that's where I came from, and this is where I'm at now. So it's a real big motivational push.
Yeah, that's inspiring too. I mean, with all jokes aside or whatever, that's inspiring to see somebody that saw you at the gym like, hey, like, whoa, like, what'd you do? Like, how'd you, like, it's inspiring to see, because you jokingly were messing around, but you're like, hey, I never thought I'd be fighting. I never thought I'd lose that X amount of weight. By you just being yourself, you've inspired other people around you, and I think that's kind of cool. I like to make sure people get their flowers, because even though you're just messing around, like, it's cool to see that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You inspire people just being yourself.
Yeah, and that's why, that's kind of the person who I am. I really want to inspire at least one person in my life, or a group of people or whatever, because I had a rough childhood growing up and all that stuff. So I know how people feel. I know what people are going through. So if I can make just at least one person's life better, or at least give them something to look forward to or motivate them, then I feel like I've changed the world just a little bit.
That's badass, dude.
Yeah, you definitely inspired me to lose a couple pounds, dude. If you can lose a fucking whole human being,
Yeah, dude.
I can lose 20 pounds.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I normally walk around at this way, but when I'm ready to go, I get even lower.
Yeah. 150, dude, that's 150 pounds.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. I recently ran back into one of my old basketball coaches while at work, and he looked at me and he was like,
The huh?
yeah, he was giving me that weird stare, like the I know you, but
know you,
don't
but I'm
look
sure.
too familiar. And then I looked at him and I was like, oh, what's up, coach? And then he was like, do I know you? And I was like, yeah, it's Paul. And I told him, I was the big old white kid you put on the center to get the boards. And he was like, oh, what? And I was like, yeah, I think I lost a couple. And he was
Is
like,
he like,
"Man."
are you dying?
Yeah, and he was like, I told him, I was like, yeah, I lost a couple. And he's like, yeah, I lost a couple humans, maybe.
Right.
Like, what the hell's going
A
on?
bunch of small children.
Yeah, so it's great to see the people I used to be around, and even though I haven't talked to them in years. I haven't been around them for so long. They're still there, and they still love to see and see me succeed. You know, because I told him about what I was doing, and instantly he started, you know, following all the accounts that, you know, CFC, all the fight accounts in El Paso, my account, and he's like, I want to see you on the big screen. I want to be playing a pay-per-view to watch you fight, and I want to be putting in all those bets and losing all this money. So, so I told him, I was like, well, that's the plan, coach.
Yeah.
So, you know.
So those kind of stories I like hearing. So what is, like, even like your family and your friends that know you, then now that you were inspiring to, you know, to fight, and now you're fighting, and now you're getting opportunities to fight for like CFC. Like, what do people say? Like, what are those common questions you get from people that are like, what? You do that? Like, do people would trip out when you're like, yeah, I'm actually pretty good too. I'm not just fighting and getting my ass kicked. I'm actually fighting for titles. Like, what do you say to people like that? Like, what's some of the common questions that you get and responses when you tell them what you're doing?
Man, some of the common questions, just like the whole why, what are you doing? Like, are you mentally okay? And, you know, and
Who hurt you?
Yeah, who hurt you as a kid? And I was like, well, you know, no. But I always tell them, when they ask those questions, I'm like, I don't know, dude. I did it a couple times, and I love it. You know, I used to watch UFC with my mom, my pops, and, you know, I always kind of liked it, but I, again, never would have thought that I'd be fighting in that octagon. But you know, like, when they ask me those questions, I just tell them, I don't know, dude. I'd love to get my face punched in. I don't know what to tell you.
I would like to say you do a lot more punching than getting your punches, man. Now that I've seen you fight a couple times, you don't like to get hit, and you hit people more than that. So
yeah,
for sure, you gotten better for sure than just taking some punches like that, man.
Yeah, you know, after that second fight for CFC, I was like, yeah, I don't want to feel this ever again. So I'm gonna work my ass off. So
yeah.
But yeah, just those are the common questions. Just the why, the where, the how.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Like, mentally, are you okay? And I tell them, I'm like, you know, to be honest, mentally, I don't think any of us are all right. You know, fighters aside, but even just like everybody in the world, I don't think you're mentally all right.
Right.
Know? Everybody's got some sort of something going on. So you know, I just tell them, I'm like, mine's a little different.
Yeah.
You know?
So sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good.
What, you know, one of your teammates, Jacobo Martos, he's going up to fight in Fury, man. Like, you as a fighter, as a teammate, you know, brothers, even, you said, you know, EKA is like a family.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you? What is seeing somebody go through that?
Dude, it's amazing. I love to see all my people succeed. You know, the fact that he's getting a shot to go fight for Fury, you know, on the big screen, you know, it's a big deal. I know it's a big deal for him. He might not show. He might be this cool, calm cat, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure deep down that little kid in him is happier than hell, you know. But it's great seeing all those people. Even AJ, you know, he's fighting up in Fury again, and same card as Jacobo, and it's great seeing all my training partners up there, you know, fighting on the big screen and, you know, representing this little town, El Paso. I don't even say if I can call it little anymore. All the expansions we're doing.
Going all the way down Montana, all the way to Carlsbad. Shit's going all the way. Talk about the inspiration you get from seeing guys like that, like being around Piggy, being around AJ, being around Jacobo, have been around longer than you have, and they're doing, you know, you able to kind of be able to tap their shoulder and be like, hey, or like them pushing in the right direction. Talk about, you know, having those benefits of having those people in the gym.
It's great, man. I almost look at it as like a futuristic mirror, you know. Of course, they might have started a lot younger than I have, or they might have started from a different area of life, you know. But I look at that like a futuristic mirror, you know. I'm like, if I put my time in, put the blood, sweat, and tears, and, you know, scrapes, cuts, bruises, all this other stuff, and I feel like I can be there, you know. If I'm already getting on one step, you know, the next step of the road, you know, fighting for these bouts, you know, being on the bigger aspect of amateur fighting. I feel like it's only time will tell when it's my turn to be up there just alongside with them, you know.
That's awesome, man. Hell yeah.
You'll get there, man. You'll get there. Keep doing what you're doing. You've already lost 150 pounds. Like,
that's already a win in life.
Yeah,
right?
bro.
Yeah, that's a win in life itself. But no, that's my goal, is to be up there just alongside with them, you know.
Yeah.
I might not be up there with them at the same time, but I'll be up there. You know?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, before we wrap this pod, we want to talk a little bit about UFC 319, currently going on today. By the time it releases, it'll be over with.
Well, we could do some predictions out here, Paul.
Yeah. All right.
Let's see. Let's go. We'll do. Want to just do main card?
Yeah,
John?
we'll do the main card.
The
Yeah.
main card. All right.
All right. So, and I'll have it here in front of you too, so you can see their faces. Tim Elliott and Kai. What do you think about that fight at flyweight? Do you know those two? I know Tim Elliott. He's been around a little bit, right?
Kai just
I was
came.
gonna say, both of them look pretty.
Yeah.
Well, 21-5. God dang, that guy's
You've
been around.
out there.
Yeah.
You've been around there too.
And Elliott, dude, Elliott almost has like 30 fights. Oh my goodness. Who just off based on what you see that who would you pick out of that, Elliott or Kai on that flyweight?
Ah, man, that's tough. You know, they're both pretty seasoned vets. I'd say you know, Kai has a little bit better, you know, of course he has a better record than Tim, but yeah, I gotta go with Tim.
All right, Tim.
Yeah.
Well, moving up on the next one, Cannonier and Venom Page. Everybody
Oh,
know who Venom
this
Page
Everyone
is.
knows Baby Page.
Dude, that fight is so interesting. What do you think about that fight, Paul?
Oh, it is an interesting fight, but you know, I gotta go with MVP. You know.
Yeah. What do you think, John, on that one? Cannonier or Page?
I don't know, bro. Cannonier, he's
Cannonier's-
coming off a win, right?
Cannonier is one of those guys too. He was a heavyweight, and
was a heavyweight?
yeah, dude, he was on that journey too, where like they say his power followed him all the way down to
yeah.
middleweight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, he's a killer gorilla for a reason.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, yeah. Him and Page going. What do you think about that one, John?
Well, it's interesting because I don't think Page's style is so unique and so like different, right?
so
He's kind of just like in and out. He's
Yeah.
in and out. He reminds me like of a Cobra, dude. He just
Yeah.
kind of goes in, strikes, and then he gets out. But I think if Cannonier can be explosive and cover the distance and get to him, it's a whole nother game
Yeah.
for MVP.
That's true. If you can cut that distance and you know and keep it close and clinch up, just not.
Yeah,
let
because
Michael-
Cannonier is a strong dude, but Venom does not like getting held.
Yeah.
Cause he's so in and out and so good on his feet, man. That's gonna be a fun one. But I mean, I like Page.
Yeah.
I've been following Page forever, man, and the fact that he's able to fight at the UFC at the high level. I don't know if he'll ever be a champ, but he's gonna be in some entertaining fights, man, for
Yeah.
sure. Moving up on the next one, Neil and Pratas, Carlos, and he's a knockout, dude. Carlos Pratas, and then Neil heavy ass hands. What do you think about that one, Paul?
I don't know, man. And they're both heavy hitters. They're both sledgehammers. You know, so,
Nobody likes being the nail in that one.
Nobody likes being the nail. They both want to be the hammer in that one, but. You know, I gotta say that I gotta say Process is gonna be a hammer in this.
Yeah,
fight.
because he won 3 in a row, and then he lost his last one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
And
so
Neil's one of those guys. He's like, have you ever seen Neil fight? He just he sits there and he's calm and he bangs.
He's a
Yeah.
veteran too.
Yeah, dude.
I'm
So-
gonna go with Neil just because the experience, the veteran, and
And he's from Dallas. I think he's from Dallas. I want to say.
Yeah.
We got represent for the Texas boys, man.
Texas.
But moving up on the next one, Aaron Pico in this I don't know who Murphy is.
he's making his debut, I believe.
Is he?
Yeah?
Yeah. He's
Okay,
coming
so-
out of I don't know what promotion. It might have been.
16-0-1. Oh,
yeah.
shiza.
He's got
Yeah.
some hype behind him right now.
And Pico too. He was in Bellator for the longest time, and he was a freestyle wrestler. He didn't go the Olympic route. He wanted to
Yeah.
fight, and he's been in Bellator for a while. And this is his debut in the UFC. Damn, and at featherweight, your weight class there.
I don't know. I guess I gotta be watching out for these guys, huh?
Yeah, because you're gonna be the 141, 145, 155. Do you ever like yourself? Do you ever like watch pros and you're like, oh shit, like I got some work?
Yeah. Oh no, for sure. Because I'm looking at all these guys and I'm like, oh my god, how they're making 145 and it doesn't
Hey,
look
Paul's
like
gonna be a 125er by the time we
I'm
know
gonna
it.
have to be a straw weight at this point, man. Yeah, I'm looking at these like I'm like, bro, how are you 45 and don't look like you got an ounce of fat on the body on your body?
And you don't look like you're dying right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that featherweight man. Well, Aaron Pico and Murphy. You said John, he was making his debut.
So are they both making their debut?
I think
for
so,
UFC?
man.
For
Yeah,
UFC.
Yeah.
Ooh-wee, they both got some.
Yeah, but I'm excited for that one. But then finally, before we get out of here, John, you want to lead up to that last one?
Yeah. So Dricus Duplessis and Khamzat Chimaev, the Wolf.
Oh my god. It's all jokes aside, it's gonna be an entertaining fight. You know, if I really hope that comes out doesn't just you know take him on the ground, just hold him there every round. I really don't see that. I see Drake is, working his way up and, giving him a good fight. But
It's hard to bet against DDP because he's beating up everybody's favorite fighter.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I low-key want to put I want to put a bet against, like DDP and then say that DDP is going to win. So both of them turn out good.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think Khamzat's going to take this one from
Yeah.
DDP. Yeah. Unless, DDP just draws like a black hole in the middle of the ring and just like drops Khamzat in through there. But
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's going to be a good fight.
What about you, John?
I think if DDP weathers the storm, because we
Yeah.
all know Hamza's going to shoot for the takedown in like the first 18, 20 seconds of the
sure.
fight. If he weathers the storm, I think he's got a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's got to get through that first minute. And which I think he can, man. He's a strong dude. He's very awkward. I think it's hard
Yeah.
to fight against someone that unorthodox and awkward.
He's randomly throwing stuff. He's randomly moving. I'm like, okay, it's working for you.
Yeah,
Keep
was
doing
it?
it.
Adesanya said it. He was just like, man, this guy, the way he was like, he's beating guys that you don't think he would beat.
Yes.
Everybody keeps saying like every time they bet against this fool, he wins. But how you guys were saying it, everybody knows what he's gonna do.
Yes.
But can he do it and actually do it against him?
Who knows? He really has to worry about DDP's his little blitz.
Yeah.
It doesn't look very like.
And he has power too, man.
Yeah, that's what
you know
I'm
what I
saying.
mean.
You gotta
Like,
look out for that.
Hasman doesn't really ever get hit.
Oh, he doesn't.
He's always the sledgehammer.
Yeah, he's always the hammer. So, yeah, I was gonna say I don't know one fight that I can say that he's been in that somebody's actually cracked him.
Right.
Well, he had a really good fight against Gilbert Burns
Yeah,
and even Kamaru. And I think with the strategy with him is if they take the fight to him, there's
kind of a
been
different
success
story.
there.
Yeah.
But if you let him come to you, you're kind of SOL.
Yeah.
Seems like,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah.
He's like, we all know what he's gonna do. Are you gonna stop him before he tries, or are you gonna just defend it?
They're just gonna run and just fucking headbutt, double knockout.
Yeah, just double knockout.
Everybody loses.
Everybody loses. Now then, then if DDP takes him the fight, let's see if all those little things that everybody else was saying, where you take it to him, then
Yeah.
let's see if that actually changes the whole outcome.
Yeah, man.
Well, we'll see, man. Throw down the comments down below. Let us know your reactions, what you guys thought about the fight. Obviously, when this is out, it's already done and over with. But we're gonna wrap this up. Big shout out to Jimmy, co-host. Killed it today, brother. Couldn't do this without you.
For sure, man.
Paul
Appreciate you, brother.
Descoteaux, excited to see you, man. October 18th at Speaking Rock Entertainment for CFC 5. Big shout out, dude. Good luck, man.
Yeah,
Bring-
we wish you
sorry.
the best, brother.
Bring that strap home.
Appreciate you.
Big shout out to CFC. Big shout out to Sun City Cantina for letting us do this. And we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Peace. Hey.